Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning into my talk today. Today I'm going to be talking about a factor analysis that we recently conducted on the perceptions of teaching as a profession in higher education instruments. My name's Jared Breakall. I work with the Get the Facts Out research project, which is all about changing the conversation around STEM teacher recruitment. This is a 5-year NSF-funded project, and the goal of this project is to promote positive facts about the teaching profession. And one way that we do that is by creating research-based and user-tested teacher recruitment materials, and then using these materials around the country and measuring and seeing how these resources change perceptions of grade 7 through 12 teaching as a career. And one thing that's really important in student career decisions, and one group of people that are important in how undergraduate students decide on what direction to move their life in, are college faculty members. And so one thing that we're interested in studying are faculty perceptions of grade 7 through 12 teaching. And so why exactly are faculty perceptions important to measure and change? It's because students often look to faculty for career advice, and if faculty hold incorrect perceptions of grade 7 through 12 teaching, these perceptions can then be passed on knowingly or unknowingly to undergraduate students. And these misperceptions can deter students from pursuing a career as a grade 7 through 12 teacher. And so it's our hope to be able to measure and then change faculty perceptions of this needed career so that we can then influence the number of students who may be pursuing this career path in their futures. So the way that we end up measuring faculty perceptions is with a survey instrument we developed, which is known as the P-taffy, or the Perceptions of Teaching as a Profession in Higher Education. This instrument measures faculty perceptions of grade 7 through 12 teaching. It contains a total of 43 items, takes around 10 minutes to complete, and as an example item here is I think grade 7 through 12 math or science teaching would be a fulfilling career for a STEM major. So within the scope of what I want to present to you today are a few purposes and a few research questions. Is one, to identify the underlying categories within the PTaffy instrument, and also to identify themes in faculty perceptions of grade 7 through 12 teaching as a career. The research questions associated with this are, what empirical underlying factors emerge from a reduced basis factor analysis of the PTaffy? And then what do these factors reveal about faculty perceptions of grade 7 through 12 teaching as a career? And so in order to answer these research questions, we collected data from a large sample of 600 faculty members around the United States. These data were collected from January to December of 2020, and the faculty members came from 43 institutions of higher education across the United States, and these institutions varied in size, location, and student demographic. Additionally, here in Table 1, I show a breakdown of the demographic information of these participants. You'll notice that we have a representation from math, physics, and chemistry departments. We also have a representation of different genders and also different position types, if people are tenured or on the tenure track, or if they're not on that tenure track as well. And so this was the sample that we used in order to conduct the reduced basis factor analysis on the PTaffy. Reduced basis factor analysis is a dimension reduction technique, and so we take a survey that has many dimensions, and in our case, 43 dimensions or 43 items, and then we're able to reduce that number of dimensions down into something that's more manageable, where we can group items together to see what categories of questions may emerge within the survey. So this is a great technique that can be used to statistically identify robust categories within a survey. It allows for easier survey interpretation and scoring, and it can provide insight into participant thinking as well. So the first part of a reduced basis factor analysis is to conduct a principal components analysis. In a principal components analysis, you identify underlying factors within the survey that may be present. And then the reduced basis part of this technique comes from running a secondary PCA on each factor that was identified in the original principal components analysis. And this is done to see if those factors that were identified truly represent one underlying construct, or if there are sub-constructs present within what was identified. And if constructs are present, then what we do is we use the correlation coefficients, scree plots, factor loadings, in order to identify items to add or subtract to that factor until it becomes a factor that doesn't have any underlying factors present and that truly represents one construct. Once we identify those constructs and those different categories that exist, we give those factors or categories a representative name. And those names are determined by a group of experts that come together and decide what is a name that would truly represent the items that fall into this category. So let's look at some of the results here. What you see here in Table 2 are the categories that emerged from this reduced basis factor analysis. You'll see the categories down the left-hand side and the number of items within that category down the right-hand side. And so as an example here, one category within the survey contained a total of 5 items and was named based on our expert group as benefits of teaching. And so the questions within this category refer to people's perceptions of the benefits of teaching as a career path. And so, as you can see, we identified a total of 8 different categories within the PTaffy, and these categories can reveal faculty thinking about teaching as a profession when we analyze our data by these categories. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some of our national data when we analyze it based on these categories that emerged from the reduced basis factor analysis. So what you'll see down the left-hand side are those categories of questions that emerged from the RBFA. And down on the x-axis at the bottom, you are going to see average percent favorable scores. So what these represent are the average score within the category of people who took the survey, and these are the favorable scores. And so on average, these are how many questions within the survey, within that category that the people answered favorably. Let me go ahead and put up the data for us. And so as an example here, when you look at benefits of teaching, you'll see that on average, people answered 38.8% of the questions within that category in a favorable or a correct manner. One thing that we want to point out about these data are these 2 distinct different groups. So the first group that you see, those top group of categories, refer to faculty perceptions of teachers and their careers, and the bottom group of factors refer to faculty's perceptions of advising and student support. And so one thing that sticks out are that faculty's perceptions of advising and student support tend to be higher on average than their perceptions of teaching. And so this is really interesting because it really shows that faculty are really perceiving themselves and their departments as supportive of those who may be interested in going into grade 7 through 12 teaching as a career. However, our data also shows that faculty may not hold completely accurate or positive perceptions of teaching as a career path. And so faculty tend to view their departments as supportive of those wanting to pursue grade 7 through 12 teaching. However, faculty may not have complete or accurate perceptions of what a career as a grade 7 through 12 teacher would be like. And so this really leads us to an important implication that becoming informed and informing others about the teaching profession may improve grade 7 through 12 STEM teacher recruitment. Because as faculty members hold more positive and more correct views about the teaching profession, those perceptions can then be passed on to their students in order to help encourage their students to pursue this really rewarding and really needed career path. So thank you. We really encourage you to visit our website where you can find great resources that you can use to get the facts out about the teaching profession, and you can also educate yourself about what a career as a grade 7 through 12 teacher would truly be like. Also, we would love to encourage you to get involved. You can sign up to become a GFO champion and to use our free resources. Thank you.